Hello everyone, welcome back to Twisted Serenity. Thanks for clicking on my channel. So today I'm excited to show you guys these fun projects I created. Now I'm just trying to keep this short, but the typical summer theme is bees and lemons and stuff like that. So I wanted to go a little bit out of the box and show you guys what I created. I hope you guys enjoy. Now don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and turn on that bell notification to be notified when I post my next video. So with that being said, sit back and relax or craft with me. Let's get started. Okay, you guys, for the first one, I have one of these wooden crates. These are the ones that don't have like the the openings. These are all the crates that are close together. So we're going to make a little mini book stack with this. Now, what I'm just doing here, I'm cutting down some popsicle sticks and I'm taking some wood glue and I want to cover up those holes as best as I can. So I use some popsicle sticks and some hot glue, and then I do fill it up with some wood filler just to give it all that, that clean book look. No, what am I saying? That book look. First, I'm going to start off and then I'm going to stain our book using some Waverly Antique Wax. So you guys know what to do. You guys paint it on and then you take like a wet paper towel or a baby wipe and you just wipe off the excess. I like the darker look, so I do go over it probably like twice and I go a little bit more heavier with the antique wax. Okay, so when that is done, I'm going to grab some floral moss. This one's from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut it all up into tiny little pieces. Now this does get messy, so that's why I'm just using the paper plate. Now I'm cutting them into tiny little pieces, and I'm using some clear glue. I'm going to glue it onto the top of our little book stack. Now, if you have they have the floral sheets, that would be even better for this project. But I didn't have any floral sheets. My Dollar Tree probably brought them one time. And there was only one left when I went to go get it and it was all broken. So, like I said, cut up the pieces. So I'm just going to cover the whole top of the book stack with the clear glue. And I had to do this a couple times. I did trim it up. I cut around it. I wanted it to look very neat. I had to go over it with some glue and floral moss a couple times just to give it some complete coverage. Now it is a book stack, so with my Cricut, I just printed out, made some decals, and I just printed out Friends, Sunshine, Picnic Time. Like I said, I wanted this to be like that picnic, backyard type of decor. So I just put a couple words that just kind of like flowed together. And as I always say, you don't have a Cricut, you could use markers, stickers, even print out paper from your printer, graphite paper to trace it on. Okay, you guys, so now I'm grabbing all my red and white like gingham prints and ribbons that I have, and I'm grabbing this one. This one looked more like of a tablecloth, like like the backyard picnic tablecloth for me. And these are all from Dollar Tree, and they have these types of ribbons throughout the entire year. They just change, I think, the label to fit every season. And I just cut a piece of that gingham ribbon and I put it on there. And then I have my red and white twine and I cut a piece and I just laid it over the ribbon. Now, as extra as I want to be for this book stack, I have this little basket that I got from Easter time. And I had it left over in my stash. And I cut a piece of the red and white fabric. I don't know if this is from Dollar Tree or from Walmart, 97 cents. I wanted to make a little picnic basket. So my daughter is in her little grown teenage stage and she tried to throw everything away. And she had a bunch of Barbie stuff and she had Barbie food. And I grabbed that from her so quick. And I knew that eventually I was going to be using it. So here we go. All my daughter's leftover Barbie food is taking place as a little picnic lunch. I love it. It's so stinking cute. It has some bread, some pies, some little milk jugs, my little picnic basket. Oh my God, it's so cute. I love it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a little bit of glue and I'm going to take our little picnic basket filled with our food and I just placed it right on top. I didn't glue the pieces in. I am going to go back and glue the pieces, just a little tab of glue or maybe even like double-sided tape to keep them in place. but I didn't want to just glue them in there because I know I'm going to be reusing them. Now, since this is picnic theme, and I do have a bunch of these mini ants, I think I mentioned it to you guys before. Like, my sister got me a bunch of like crafting stuff for my birthday, and these little ants were part of them. So I just took a couple ants on there, and that is it for this one, you guys. How cute is this? Okay, so these next two projects, they're gonna go together. So for the first one, I grabbed this like little Tupperware thing. It's like a 3-stack. It comes from Dollar Tree in the baby section. I think it's for snacks or formula. So I'm just going to untwist it. I'm just showing you guys it does come off, and that's exactly we're gonna use both pieces. But before we do that, I grab some caulk and I put some caulk into a cup mixed with some paints. Now I'm making like a little faux peanut butter jar. So I'm going to take some caulk and like some different types of brown paints. I take like a little dash of yellow, a little dash of orange, whatever paints that you guys have to give you like that peanut butter look. When I have my colors mixed up, I also add some Mod Podge in there to give it that glossy look. Because of the oils in peanut butter, it does have like that glossy type of look. I think I sound like I'm trying to be like a scientist now, but let me know if I'm wrong, you guys. But I think that's what gives it that oil look. So that's my little concoction that I made, and that is what we are going to take. We're going to take the little Tupperware, the little jar, and we are going to start to we're basically, we're not going to fill up the whole jar. So, we're going to take our craft stick and we're just going to go, what is that called, like the lining of it, the inside. You guys see what I'm doing right there? We're not going to fill up the whole jar, and that is going to dry beautifully, and it's going to give it complete coverage. I love the way it looks. Now, I'm just going to take a baby wipe, and I'm just going to clean the top rim of it because it just went out a little bit. It does get a little bit messy, so just give it that clean, finished look. Now, that's done. We're going to let that dry. Now, I'm going to take the cover, and the cover was blue. Like, if you guys want to leave your color, you leave your color, whatever you guys want. It's up to you. But I want it to look like a real jar of peanut butter. So I grabbed that cover, and I paint it using, I believe it's some Apple Barrel Burnt Umber. Once the cover was dry, I just popped the cover twisted right onto our little faux peanut butter. Now I set it aside. Now next, I have these yogurt containers. I always save these, and I want to make a jar of jelly to go with it. Now, I've seen people use silicone, epoxy, and all that, but I didn't have any of that, so I used some clear glue, and then I had some super glossy Mod Podge. I mixed those two together, and then I took some gel food coloring, and I believe it was Christmas red, and I put some gel food coloring in there. And then I took some purple, like a little drop of purple and a little drop of orange to give it more of a red tone because it was looking a little too pink. Now, one thing, the clear glue does dry. It just takes a while for it to dry. It does take a long time for it to dry. So as I was putting it inside the jar, I did let it dry for a little bit, and then I went over with my little mixture again, and I did put it inside of there. I put it inside, like more coverage inside the jar. So once it was dried, I grabbed a little piece of that red and white gingham print fabric, and I just covered our little jar, and I wrapped a little piece of fabric with some red and white twine and stuck some like little sticker labels on each of the jar. One says peanut butter, and of course the other one said strawberry jelly. And that was it for this one, you guys. So stinking cute. Okay, you guys, for this next one, I have a big ball of air dry clay. Now this clay looks like this. It's a pretty rough because it had got hardened, and then I put some, like, I think it was like lotion to like soften it up again because I was not going to let this go to waste. So I'm just conditioning it and making it softer, and I'm telling you, it worked. So don't throw away your clay. Honestly, like, try to look up like ways to revive clay again, and it worked. So a lot of people are not a fan of faux foods, but I am making like a little picnic type of decor. So this little next one that we are doing right now is perfect. So I'm going just to roll out I'm gonna roll out the clay, and then I'm gonna cut down 2 pieces. I did take a piece of cardstock and I printed out the shape of a slice of bread. So I want to make a little faux peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I'm just using my little craft knife, and I'm going just to cut out 2 pieces of bread. Super easy to do, you guys. Super, super easy. This is like a very simple and easy project. And we are going to use some of the same, like we're going to use the same supplies that we used in our previous project. Now I take like a little skinny dowel, or like this is like a shish kebab stick, and I'm just going to like make the indentations on the sides just to make those form in a little bit more so it could really look like a piece of bread. Now I do 2 of these, you guys, to make our sandwich, to make our little faux peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now, the crust of bread is not perfect, so I was happy that it wasn't all neat and stuff. So don't, like I always say, imperfect makes like little perfections. Now I did the second one. I didn't want to show you guys how I did that one because you guys already seen me do the first one. So now I'm just grabbing like a little pokey tool. At first I started off with the pokey tool, but then I'm going to grab my craft knife again. Now I'm just giving it like little indentations, like poking away at it, like taking little pieces away from it to give it the texture that bread has, because it was too like flat and smooth. Like it was too flat and smooth, so it did not look like bread. So just poke away and peel away at the clay to give it that bread type of texture. Now this part is a little time consuming, but it comes out really, really cute. And it comes out looking like bread. So I'm only going to put you guys through the torture of watching me do one, but you guys get the point. And I'm only going to do it to one side of each of the bread, because the other side is not going to show at all anyways. So just the top, like what's ever going to be the top of your toast and the bottom of your toast, just one side each. So once we're all doing that, we do have to paint our bread to make it look more realistic. Now this is like an off-white color from Apple Barrel. I will link it down in the comment because on the top of my head I cannot remember what it's called. And I'm using just a little sponge and I'm dabbing it up and down because I didn't want to use a paintbrush, because the paint will, all the little indentations that we made, the paint will basically cover them, and I'll brush them down as as we're using the paintbrush. So just pounce up and down with a sponge. As you guys can see, this is a regular sponge that I cut into pieces. Now when it does come to painting the toast, I did paint the front and the back of each of the toast. So now it's time to give our, I keep saying toast, but our bread, the crust type of color. So I have, like I said, I will link all my colors down below. I know it's like a caramel color from Folk Art. I have Apple Barrel colors, and then I believe like an orange color. And I did mix them all up. And then I just took my paintbrush for this one, and I painted the outline of the bread to make it look like the crust. And it came pretty darn close. I was pleased with it. Okay, our slices of bread are done, and I stacked them one on top of another. Now you could cut them right down in the middle, but I'm going to give them, or you don't have to cut them at all, but I am going to cut them diagonally to make our little PB&J sandwich. Now as I was cutting them, I did have to like go back in a couple times because the clay wasn't completely dried, it was getting stuck together. Now, when I pulled it apart, it needed to be painted, so I just went in with the sponge and I just painted the inside of our bread as well. Okay, so all our slices are done, and now it's time to start making our peanut butter. Well, we already made our peanut butter. We're going to make the whole sandwich. So our mixture from our previous project, we're just going to use that, and we're going to smudge the peanut butter on our bread, just like if we were doing a real peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now, when I put the peanut butter on, you know, I did smooth it out, and I did try to push a little bit of the peanut butter towards the front, because I did want it to look a little bit like if it was oozing out of the sandwich a little bit. So now we're going to do the same thing for our jelly. We're going to take the other slice of bread, and make sure that we used in our jelly jar in our previous project. We're going to do the same thing that we did the peanut butter, smooth it on, and then push a little bit out to the front to make it look like it's like if it's oozing out. Now, once I did this, once I spread it out once I did spread out the peanut butter and jelly, I laid them one on top of each other, and I just pushed them down a little bit. Don't push it too hard, because if you push it too hard, it's gonna come like really, really oozing out. And then I go ahead and do the second one as well. One little tip that I could give you guys is do the peanut butter first on the toast, because you want to let it sit just for a little bit before you put them together, because it does get a little bit hard and it is not so messy to work with. And what I love most about this project, it's different and it's not something that you see on your everyday decor. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, for this next one, you guys, I have these little wooden spoons. I believe I got these from Walmart, and I was so happy because they had that little gingham red and white print, just perfect for a picnic. Now we're using the same mixture that we used in the previous projects, and I just stuck the little faux peanut butter tube in mixture in this like little tube bottle, because it was easier to work with. Put it on the little wooden spoon. Now I started off with 2 wooden spoons. I am going to add a third one. I want to do a full little wooden spoon of peanut butter and a full little wooden spoon of jelly. What I did once I got the peanut butter on there, I just took a little tool, like a little spatula tool thing that I had, just to smooth it out a little bit. And we're using the same mixture that we used for our jelly in our previous 2 projects. And I just had it in a little baggie, and I'm putting it on our spoon. Now, one thing, it is very runny, so if you could kind of keep the spoon stable somewhere so it doesn't run off, like the mixture doesn't run off and make a big globby mess. Now we have them done, and before they completely dry, I have these little fake sprinkles that I made, and I put some little on the jelly. I put like brownish, like light brownish sprinkles and white ones to look like the peanut butter, to go, just all common, like combining with each other. And then on our peanut butter, which that was drying up a little bit, I took some red little sprinkles that I had mixed with some white ones, and I put those on our fake little peanut butter. They will look cute even plain. You don't have to even decorate them with sprinkles. I just had these sprinkles, and I wanted to decorate them with it. Now I did take some Mod Podge, and I went over our peanut butter because it wasn't looking too glossy, and I wanted to have that very glossy look. Now I wanted to do a third little spoon in peanut butter jelly, and the perfect combination to go with it is fluff. So I did take a little bit of caulk, a little bit of white paint, and some Mod Podge, and I made a little bit of mixture, and then I spread that onto the third little spoon that I had. And then I topped off that spoon with some brown and red sprinkles. Now, once that was all done, I took some red and white twine, and I made some little bows, and I attached the little bows to our spoons, and then I attached some of our little mini fake ants that we have, and I put those on it as a little bit of embellishment. And that was it for this one, you guys. These are so cute. I love the way these came out. Okay, you guys, for this next one, we have our mess of craft sticks here. We have different sizes. Now, I'm going to grab these larger craft sticks. I'm going to grab 4 of them, and I'm just going to straighten them out. I am going to add some tape to them because I am going to take my ruler and draw a line where I'm going to want to cut them down, and I didn't want them moving all around the place. So I just grabbed my beat up little cutting mat, And I take my craft sticks and I just use my cutting knife and I just cut them all down. Now I just use some small craft sticks to keep those pieces together and reinforce them. Now I grab 4 pieces of craft sticks and I build a border of inside of the bottom of our little, I'm not even sure if I said it, we're making like a little picnic table. Now I have these little dowels and I cut down 4 pieces of them and I cut all the ends of them at an angle. I can't tell you what angle it was, you guys. I just eyeballed an angle, even though I had the miter shears that had the angles, but I didn't do it exactly like that. Like with exactly the angle, I just angled it myself and cut them down. And then I started to attach them to each of the corners of our little table. The reason why I built that little border, so I could have more reinforcement when I do attach those little, our legs of our table, because I am gluing them down to the flat of surface of the table and to the side of the craft stick as well. I had cut down 2 more dowels to put at about the middle of the legs, because I'm going to use those 2 dowels to make the bench, like the seats of the bench, and I need those to hold up the 2 craft sticks. Now I just use some wood glue and some hot glue, and these are the same craft sticks, size craft sticks at the top of the table, and I glue those right on. And those are our little bench where people sit. Our little mini people, I should say, sit. And once our little table is built, I take some Waverly wax and I stain our whole entire table. Now, you could leave the table completely just stained or painted whatever color you want. But I took another piece of that gingham fabric. Mind that all the gingham fabric that I had been using, like all the pieces, were just one sheet that I got from Walmart. Then, like, I think it's like a quarter sheet or whatever it is. That's 97 cents from Walmart. And I laid our little faux tablecloth on there, and I didn't glue it down just in case I do want to take it off. Now I'm taking some of that little fake Barbie food. Once again, that came very, very handy for these DIYs. And I put a little fake little pie on there and a fake little cherry cake. Now these, I'm sorry. Now, our little pies and cake, I did glue those down for they won't fall off like the picnic table food was. You guys know I get sidetracked all the time. And I glue little ants on there. And that is it for this one, you guys. How cute. Okay, you guys, on to the next one. We are going to take this little squishy toy from Dollar Tree. I believe it's a cherry pie. And we are going to leave it just as that, a cherry pie. But we are going to give it a little makeover. Now, I think that this is Tutorial Beige from Apple Barrel, and I'm going to paint the whole entire crust with this color. Now, you guys, I know this has a lot, but I wanted to give you guys all the pieces that I made. So if you're still watching, like, hit that like button and write in the comments, what is your favorite thing to do in the summer? Honestly, one of my favorite things to do is have picnics with the family. I love it. Okay, you guys. See, I'm sidetracked. I'm always sidetracked. I'm going to take a little paintbrush with some red paint. Like I said, write down those paints. And my voice keeps cracking too. It's my allergy so bad. In the description box. And I just go over and I paint all those little cherries. Just making sure, because I'm a messy painter. Everybody knows that. And I got a lot of Tutorial Beige on those little fake cherries. Once I painted those fake little cherries, and so when it dries, it did crack. So I went over with Mod Podge to give it that shiny look as well, because it got very dulled down. And the Mod Podge sealed it right up. It was perfect. It was meant to be. I wasn't even worried about the cracks at first. I just wanted to give it a shiny look. And when I went over it with the Mod Podge, it completely fixed it all up. Plus, we are going to cover a little bit of that cracking anyways. So I do cover the whole entire thing with the Mod Podge, especially the cherry section. I want those cherries to really pop through. So I grab some caulk right out of the tube and I just make like a little swirl on top. I just made it look like our little faux whipped cream. And I thought I recorded it as well when the Mod Podge was wet. I took some sand from Dollar Tree and I sprinkled some sand all over the crust, our full little crust, to make it look like sugar. I just topped this with a cherry and that was it, you guys. How cute. Okay, you guys, we're almost done. This one's really quick. I grabbed this little milk carton, and these come in the pack of like little play foods they could get from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to rip that label off. If you want to just leave, I am just going to redo a milk carton over. If you want to leave it with that label, don't want to go through the mess, just leave it with that label and call it a day. But I wanted to redo our little milk carton, so I am going to scrape that label off. I put some Goo Gone on there, and I took it all off. Once it was all cleaned up, I grabbed my black paint with my paintbrush, and I'm just going to make like little spots. I want them to look like little cow print spots. Okay, once our paint is all dried up, I made a little decal using my Cricut, and it just says milk, and I just transferred it right on there. Once that was done, I took my hot glue gun and I made a hole on the top of it. And I have these wicked cute little cow print straws in my stash, and I just cut one down and I stuck it inside our little opening that we made in the milk carton. And that was it for this one, you guys. I love how this came out. Okay, for this next one is more like a decoration piece to add to the tier tray, more than a DIY. So I have some fake strawberries, some fake cherries, and my fake little ants, like they're the toothpick ants. And I also got these as a birthday gift. I got a bunch of crafting supplies for my birthday, as I had said before. And I just took the fake little strawberries and cherries and I stuck them right on there. And how cute is that going to look on the tier tray along with the other decor pieces? I love it. Okay, you guys, for this next one, we are going to take a craft stick and I'm just going to cut down both ends using my little snips, whatever you call them. And then on one of the ends, I'm going to cut it down and point it to make it look like an arrow. I'm going to give it a quick little sanding, and then I am going to take some Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm going to stain our whole entire, I don't know why I'm acting like it's such a big piece. We're going to stain our craft stick. Okay, so I made another little decal using my Cricut, and I just wrote picnic area, and I'm making this into like a little directional stand type of sign thing. You'll see. So I transferred that on to the craft stick once it was completely dried. Now I have this thin craft stick, like a coffee stir type thing, and I'm going to use that as a stand. And I stain it as well using the Waverly Wax, and I take 2 Jenga blocks that I had from a previous project that I were already stained. So I'm going to start to assemble it. So I grab the little arrow stand and I glue it to the coffee stir stick. And then I take the 2 tumbling tower blocks and I glue those together as well. Now to cover it up, since this is picnic theme as well, I took some floral moss and I'm going to just cut it up. And I'm going to cover the top of the Jenga blocks. I want it to look like a little grassy park area. I get the floral moss a little trim so the grass doesn't look too long. So now that part's done, I wanted to do just a little something more for this piece. So I grabbed our little fake ants, and I have this air dry clay pack from Dollar Tree, and I just took the red out and I rolled it into little balls, and because I'm going to make little mini apples. And then I have these little sprinkles. They're like PB&J sprinkles that I ordered off of Etsy. So you see I have the green and the red, and I just made little fake apples with the clay and I glued them onto the ants along with the full little sprinkles. These little clay things are from Dollar Tree, and they have like ladybugs and like an octopus, and they come in like 3 different colors. They're so cool if you just want to make a simple project and don't want to buy a bunch of clay. It's like just to grab them. They're in the toy section. Anyways, I start to glue the little ants to our little sign. I had like a fake little cupcake. I think it was from the Barbie toys that I had. And I glue the ones with the little faux sprinkle toast on the stick part because they were lighter. And then I glue some ants on the top arrow. And that was it for this one, you guys. So stinking cute. Okay, you guys, for our last one, I have this little tag shape from Dollar General. I got this for 50 cents. They had like this sale that if it had like a certain color sticker, everything was half off. So it was $1, so I got it for 50 cents. I cleaned it up, I sanded it off, and I gave it 2 coats of white chalk paint. Now, I have these little letters. I've used these before in projects. I just took out the letters that I wanted because I didn't want to use my Cricut or anything like that. And I painted them with some black acrylic paint. I suggest when you guys are, if you guys are going to have little letters like this and you're going to paint them, use tape. It's a nice little trick that I've seen other crafters use to keep the letters down. You don't get your fingers all painted. Everybody knows I'm a messy painter, so this is a good little trick to use. I lined up my letters like I wanted on the tag, and then I used my crazy gel glue. This stuff is awesome for like little mini wood pieces, and I used that just to glue all my letters down. Once I had glued all the letters down, this was too plain for me. It was too black and white. It needed more, because at first I was just gonna leave it like this, but I was like, no, this needs more. So I did paint the border with some Candy Apple by Apple Barrel paint just to give it a little bit of pop of color. Now, me being as extra as I am, I wanted this to become I wanted the back to be finished as well. And I grabbed, these are those, the checker thing. These are those liners that go inside like the picnic cookout baskets. And it's the same consistency as like texture as tissue paper. So I decided to do like the, what is that called? It's not Mod Podge on. The tissue paper technique when you put tissue paper on something, whatever it's called. I'm drawing a blank right now. And I just used my purple disappearing glue stick and then just sanded off the excess. I have this little gingham print like ribbon. And I think I got this at Walmart. I'm not sure, but I think I got this at Walmart. And I just rolled the end off of it. And don't do that with the hot glue, you guys. Don't blame me, like I said before, if you get burned. And I just used that to wrap up the tag. And I glued some little fake ants onto it. And then I had like a little toast charm that had like a little heart. And I stuck that in the corner, like I said, just to tie it all in. And that was it for this one, you guys. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and turn on that bell notification to be notified when I post my next video. And I honestly appreciate every single one of you for helping my channel and supporting my channel. Thanks for all the love and support. If you would like to help my channel and to buy me a coffee, The link will be down in the description box. Now, as I always say, this world could throw you twists and turns, but always make good choices. To the next one, you guys.